Let me go for the bananas over here. Everybody just loves bananas. Everyone loves bananas, okay? Doesn't matter what the brand is. It's a banana, okay? So one banana, generally 30 grams of carbohydrates. Whoa, 30 grams. Now let's put this in perspective. Let's have breakfast, shall we? Let's see. Grape nuts. I'm still looking for the grapes and the nuts. So I pour myself a bowl of grape nuts, right? All right. I may have to write this down. These numbers may get really high. I may need a calculator. So that's 41 grams of sugar, right? So then I add a banana. I add a banana to make this stuff taste good, right? So that's 30 grams. So that's 41 plus 30 grams, right? Then I have a glass of orange juice. And orange juice notoriously has about maybe 10 to 30. I'm sorry. No. An 8-ounce glass of orange juice, about 34 grams. 34 grams of sugar. So that's 34. Okay. So we got 41. We got 30. We got 34. But it doesn't stop there because I didn't add the milk. I didn't add the milk to the grape nuts. So I'm going to add my milk. And let's do a cup of, well, I'm not going to use whole milk because that's dangerous for me, right? Hopefully you guys know I'm being sarcastic. It's actually preferred to use, and you probably prefer to use heavy cream. I'm going to use my where is it? Come on. My fat-free, my 100% fat-free milk, okay? And I'm going to add another, I'm going to need calculus to figure out this number. 17 grams, okay? Let's add 17 grams. Now, please bear with me here. All right, remember, I'm a physician. Adding is kind of sometimes tough for me. So that's 4 and 1 is 5, 7 is 12, 5 and 3 is 8 and 3 is 11, 12. I'm afraid to read this number. I'm getting 122 grams of sugar. Virtually no fat. Virtually no protein. Just sugar. And I'm going to leave. That's right. You know, it just occurred to me. We're going to put 1 or 2 teaspoons of sugar in there too. That's 8 grams. I'll leave it out. That brings me to 130 grams. And we're happy. And we're suffering from obesity, heart disease, high blood pressure. Get heartburn all the time. We're happy. We leave the breakfast table and we think we did good, and look at I ate fantastically, and then we go to the doctor and the doctor does blood work and wonders why. Or you wonder why all the numbers look horrible, and you wonder why the doctor increases your medications. It's because we just don't understand that sugar is sugar is sugar. I mean, this ignorance has to stop. I mean, look at the foods on this table. People will think I'm crazy. All right, will think I'm crazy, you know, but I'm dealing with the facts, and I see there's messages that have come across, not messages, but questions for me, and I'm going to try to get through as many as I can in the time available. But it just needs to be stressed that sugar is sugar is sugar, and please understand that these products on this table in front of me are not healthy for you if you suffer from high blood pressure, heart disease, low HDL, good cholesterol, high triglycerides, have diabetes. They're not healthy for you, and you need to eat them in limited quantities. Okay. One of the best books that I can recommend people use as a carbohydrate counter would be my favorite, Corinne T. Netzer, Netzer. That's a carbohydrate counter. Use it. It's fantastic, and it'll tell you exactly how many carbohydrates are in things that you eat. Now, let me take, and, you know, hopefully, again, we started the show with stating that I want to get Mr. Bones fatter. He's got to get some meat on his bones, you know. You've heard the saying. So he will do that effectively with these products. All right, he will do that effectively with these allegedly natural and safe products. I was on the YouTube, not my video. Hopefully you saw that one. But I was on YouTube and I came across this. I think it was a doctor, and she was sitting up there as adamant, as vehement as me, and saying, "Whole wheat's great, and got to eat it, and fruits are fantastic, and oh boy, yay, hippie!" And I'm looking at her going, "Well, sugar is sugar is sugar. Simmer down." And the scary thing is, she got a lot of hits. I forget how many, but she had a lot of hits. So a lot of people are viewing this, believing it's the correct way to eat. Grapes and apples and bananas and cream of wheat and whole grain, whole grain pasta. It's just plain wrong. It's just plain wrong. Okay. And we're going to put these over here. All right, there we go. All right, so let's see here, and thank you again for joining me. I'm going to I call it controversial webcast. I call it Ultimate Health because it is Ultimate Health. I call and you know what? I think one of the sessions will go through vitamins because people ask me, all the times, what type of vitamins should I take? Should I take vitamins? Should I not take vitamins? What do vitamins do? So that'd be a great segment, and we'll get to that in the future. But it's called controversial webcast, but I'm talking about things that are factual, that are true, and it shouldn't be controversial. It's scary, I remarked last week on my radio show that we could be sitting down, talking about whether or not the world is round if we existed, 300 or so years ago when we thought the world was flat. And if we had a show like that where we were discussing whether or not the world was round, we'd be looked at as heretics and ridiculous and controversial. And let me take a question here. This is from Carol from Tampa, Florida. And thank you, Carol, so much for emailing me. I didn't read the question yet, so no, I'm just teasing. Let me read it. Okay, I'm not sure why the AMA endorses a product like margarine as being heart healthy. You didn't show it on the food you bought, but I'm pretty sure it has the AHA seal of approval. Now, I think she meant AHA, and she put AMA. AHA, of course, stands for the American Heart Association. They do indeed endorse margarine, a trans fatty acid, which is known to cause heart disease and increase one's risk for cancer. It is a product that no insect, mammal, animal, the squirrel, rodent, vermin will eat, except us humans, because it's endorsed. And the reason it's endorsed is because it has no saturated fat, and it has some polyamino-unsaturated fats. So, and trans fats aren't, seen, I guess, as being dangerous yet. If you ask anybody who represents the American Heart Association, they'll tell you that they understand trans fats are dangerous. And there's even suggestions in the American Heart Association's literature that we need certain amounts of trans fats. I'm not talking about the natural trans fat, conjugated linoleic acid, which is a mixture of cis and trans fatty acids. And this is one trans fat that is absolutely safe for us and has anti-cancer preventative things to it. It's a very important trans fat to get. But, Carol wants to know. She's not sure why. Well, me too. I mean, I don't know why. And still today, I get people coming in to see me in my practice who are using margarine, who think it's safe. And when I tell them it's not, when I tell them it's closely resembling rubber, and it is, they look at me and they go, really? And I say, yeah. And they get rid of it. Okay. Remember, butter is better. Butter is better. Second question. Joe from Madison, Maine. Okay. I'm surprised that the cereals you purchased contain so much sugar, but I'm still convinced that the sugar from whole grains are superior to those from processed foods. They are more natural, and the body treats them differently. That's a great question. All right, that's a great question, Joe. He's surprised that the cereals I purchased contain so much sugar. I have to admit, before I did my shopping spree, and you know what's really beat? I mean, I had to pay for this stuff, and I'm not even going to throw it outside because I don't want the animals to get it because I don't want to kill them. Okay, so I'm going to have to get rid of this where no one can eat it. All right. Neither was I. I mean, I'm looking at well, I kind of knew about grape nuts, but cream of wheat, I was shocked. The other one, the whole wheat thing, I was shocked. The V8, I almost had a syncopal event, which means I almost fainted in the, where was I? The supermarket. Cheerios, I know all about. The oatmeal thing wasn't a surprise. This apple, I didn't know where they got this from. It looks like it's from outer space or something. But you're convinced that the sugar from whole grains is superior, all right, than processed foods. You got to remember, Joe, I'm not saying that the whole grain foods like whole grain pasta, brown rice, or whole wheat pasta isn't less processed, doesn't have more vitamins, nutrients, or minerals. What I'm saying is that the sugar is still there. And don't ever forget the fact that sugar is sugar is sugar. So when you have a whole wheat piece of bread and you process it, yes, you're stripping the nutrients from it. So the unprocessed whole wheat bread has more nutrients, fiber, and minerals in it. But it still is top loaded with sugar. And forgive me because I should have grabbed, some like a whole wheat, a loaf. But I mean, you look at that, on your own. But it's anywhere from 14 to 18 grams of carbohydrate per serving. In the digestion process, you strip the vitamins, minerals, and fiber, but then you're still top loaded with sugar. And that sugar gets into the bloodstream, gets to the level of the cell. Once inside the cell, that sugar will be converted into plaque-forming deadly cholesterol, and triglycerides will be made, and fat will be stored as, of course, fat on our bodies. And he states here that they're more natural and the body treats them differently. No and no.